And we'll keep drifting, floating together through the science of health, looping softly, endlessly, through the night. Tonight we'll drift through how cells defend, repair, and renew themselves. Foods that activate your body's healing systems, the quiet intelligence of your microbiome at work. There's nothing you need to do now. Just let your body sink heavier, heavier. Feel the mattress holding you, every muscle softening, your heartbeat slowing, thump, thump, matching the rhythm of regeneration itself, shoulders melting down, jaw releasing, each breath pulling you deeper, deeper, into the calm, the quiet, the dark. If this health learning video helps you rest, tap subscribe, comment, and hit like, so others can find this calm too. But only if your eyes are still open. Otherwise, just drift. Now, let's drift into cellular health. Right now, in this very moment, your body is orchestrating something extraordinary. Billions of tiny repair crews moving through darkness, invisible architects, rebuilding you, cell by cell, while consciousness fades, your eyelids growing heavier, heavier, as we sink into the microscopic world. Deep in your tissue, blood vessels are dancing, a delicate balance, angiogenesis, the body's wisdom of knowing exactly when to grow new vessels, when to prune old ones, like a gardener tending invisible vines, threading through organs, feeding every cell. Too many vessels, and disease can take hold. Too few, and tissue starves. But your body knows, it knows, this ancient balance, written into your biology, millions of years of evolutionary memory. And there are foods, simple foods, that speak this language. Dark berries, their deep purple voices, whispering to your endothelial cells, those delicate inner linings of blood vessels, telling them, slow down, be selective, grow with intention. Green tea leaves, steeped in hot water, releasing catechins, molecules that float, drift, through your bloodstream, landing on cellular doorways, gentle messengers, maintaining vascular balance. Each sip you took today, still echoing through tissues, even now, as you sink deeper, your breath slowing, each exhale, releasing tension, releasing the day, releasing everything that no longer serves. While you sleep, your immune system is fully awake. Sentinels patrol, silent guardians, natural killer cells, floating through blood, touching, tasting, every cell they encounter, asking the question, are you healthy? Are you self? Are you safe? And when they find a cell, transformed, damaged, potentially dangerous, they don't hesitate. They release perforins, tiny molecular spears, puncturing the membrane, then granzymes, pouring in, triggering, a peaceful dismantling, apoptosis, the programmed death that protects the living. T-cells learning, in the shadows of your thymus, each one trained to recognize one specific threat, an enormous library of molecular memories, ready, waiting, like monks in a monastery, each devoted to one prayer, one purpose, and macrophages, those great devourers, crawling through tissue, engulfing debris, bacteria, dead cells, then changing, shifting their chemical voice from inflammation to resolution, from alarm to healing. They know when to fight and when to rebuild. Let your body sink heavier, the pillow holding your head perfectly, your spine settling, vertebra by vertebra, everything releasing. Inflammation, that ancient response. Fire in the tissue can be your ally. A splinter enters, and immediately the area swells, grows warm, immune cells rushing in, clearing the threat. But then the fire must subside. The inflammation must resolve. Chronic low-grade inflammation is different, a smouldering that never quite extinguishes, aging you, slowly, silently, like rust spreading through machinery. But your body holds the antidote, woven into its deepest systems, those omega-3 fatty acids from wild salmon, from sardines swimming in cold waters, from walnuts cracking open. They transform inside your cells into specialized molecules, resolvins, protectins, merisins, chemical peacemakers that gently guide inflammation back to quiet. Extra virgin olive oil, golden green, pressed from ancient trees, carries oleocanthal, a molecule that mimics the action of aspirin, dampening inflammatory pathways, soothing tissue. 1 tablespoon a day, and your cells receive this Mediterranean whisper, this liquid calm. Your eyes completely still now, behind closed lids, muscles twitching as dreams begin to form, and deeper still, inside the nucleus of every cell, your DNA is being tended. DNA repair pathways activating us continuously, base excision repair, nucleotide excision repair, mismatch repair, homologous recombination, each with its own specialty, its own tools, enzymes, reading the double helix like editors, reviewing text, finding errors, cutting them out, splicing in, perfect replacements, every day, thousands of times. Radiation, chemicals, metabolic byproducts damage your DNA, but every night, especially between 2 and 4 a.m., when growth hormone peaks, when melatonin floods, your system repair accelerates. And at the tips of each chromosome, telomeres, those protective caps, like the plastic ends of shoelaces, keeping everything from fraying. With each cell division, they shorten, a biological clock counting down. But telomerase, that remarkable enzyme, can lengthen them, add back what was lost. The foods you choose determine how fast that clock runs down. Chronic stress, oxidative damage, speed the shortening, but leafy greens, fermented foods, practices of calm, like this moment, right now, they preserve, they protect those precious genetic bookends, sinking deeper into cellular night, where the damaged are removed, where senescent cells, those that have stopped dividing but won't quite die, are finally cleared away, Cellular senescence can be protective, stopping damaged cells from becoming cancer, but accumulated senescent cells secrete inflammatory factors, aging nearby tissue. Zombie cells, the scientists call them, not quite dead, not quite alive. Your immune system knows them and gradually, quietly removes them through senolysis, the clearing that happens mostly during deep sleep, the very sleep you're entering now. And when a cell is truly beyond repair, apoptosis begins. The mitochondria, those power plants, release cytochrome C, a signal of ending. Caspases activate like dominoes falling, dismantling the cell from within. Membrane blebbing, nuclear condensation, everything packaged neatly for macrophages to consume. No inflammation, no alarm, just a quiet return to components to be recycled. Your breath, so soft now, barely moving, and inside, autophagy accelerates. Auto, self, phagy, eating the cell, consuming its own damaged parts, misfolded proteins, broken organelles, all gathered into double membrane sacs, autophagosomes, then fused with lysosomes, those acidic cauldrons where everything dissolves back to amino acids, lipids, simple sugars. This is how cells stay young, by constantly removing the old, the broken, turning them into building blocks for new structures, a cellular fountain of youth. And it accelerates when you fast, when you sleep, when you exercise, when you consume sulforaphane from broccoli sprouts or resveratrol from grapes. Metophagy, a special form, eating damaged mitochondria, because mitochondria, like tiny bacteria descended from ancient symbiotes, have their own DNA, their own membranes, and when they fail, they leak reactive oxygen species, free radicals that damage everything nearby. But PINK1 and Parkin, proteins that sense mitochondrial distress, they tag the damaged for destruction, wrapping them in autophagosomes, clearing them away, making room for mitochondrial biogenesis, the birth of new energy centers. Let go completely. There's nowhere to be, nothing to remember. Just this soft, dark repair. Inside each cell, inside those new mitochondria, energy is being generated. Glucose and oxygen meeting in the cristae. Those folded inner membranes, electrons flowing down the respiratory chain, ATP synthase spinning like molecular turbines, creating adenosine triphosphate, the universal currency of cellular life. But this process creates oxidative stress, those reactive oxygen species, superoxide, hydrogen peroxide, hydroxyl radicals, like sparks from a fire. They can damage lipids, proteins, DNA itself, unless your antioxidant systems neutralize them. Superoxide dismutase converting superoxide to hydrogen peroxide, catalase, and glutathione peroxidase, breaking down that peroxide to water, harmless water, and glutathione itself, that master antioxidant, cycling between reduced and oxidized forms, accepting electrons from free radicals, stabilizing them. Your body makes glutathione from 3 amino acids, but it needs sulfur from garlic, onions, cruciferous vegetables. It needs selenium from Brazil nuts, just 2 or 3 a day, and zinc from pumpkin seeds, oysters, signaling hundreds of enzymes, darkness wrapping around you, warm, safe. You are so heavy now. Nitric oxide, that tiny molecule, 1 nitrogen, 1 oxygen, produced by endothelial cells lining every blood vessel. It diffuses into smooth muscle, causing relaxation, vasodilation, blood flowing freely, delivering oxygen, nutrients to tissue, starving, no more. And nitric oxide does more. It prevents platelets from clumping. It inhibits white blood cells from sticking to vessel walls. It maintains that critical endothelial health, the foundation of cardiovascular longevity. Beets, leafy greens, rich in nitrates. Your saliva converts them to nitrites, then in the acidic stomach to nitric oxide, absorbed into blood, a vegetable becoming a vasodilator. Food as medicine, medicine as food. Your stem cells resting in their niches, waiting. Those small populations of unspecialized cells holding infinite potential. They can become anything, any cell type needed for repair. In bone marrow, hematopoietic stem cells give rise to all blood cells, red cells, carrying oxygen, white cells, defending, platelets, clotting wounds, a constant renewal, 2 million red blood cells created every single second in the gut lining, in hair follicles, in the base of your epidermis. Stem cells divide asymmetrically. 1 daughter. In your gut, 3 pounds of bacteria, fungi, viruses, archaea, your microbiome, more cells than in your entire body, more genes than in your genome. They are not invaders, they are partners, evolved together for millennia. Diversity is health. Hundreds of species, each occupying its own niche, some breaking down complex fibers that you cannot digest, producing short-chain fatty acids, butyrate, propionate, acetate. These molecules feed your colonocytes, the cells lining your colon. They reduce inflammation. They strengthen the gut barrier. They even travel to the liver, the brain, influencing metabolism everywhere. Akkermansia mucinifera, a keystone species living in the mucus layer. It consumes mucin and in doing so stimulates mucus production, maintaining gut barrier integrity, preventing leaky gut where bacterial fragments slip through into blood, triggering systemic inflammation. People with abundant akkermansia have better metabolic health, better insulin sensitivity, less obesity, and you can feed it with polyphenols from pomegranates, green tea, cranberries, lactobacillus, bifidobacterium, species that ferment sugars, producing lactic acid, lowering pH, creating an environment hostile to pathogens. They're enriched by fermented foods, kimchi, with its spicy, probiotic, tang, sauerkraut, sour, alive, with bacteria, yogurt, creamy cultures, tangy kefir, ancient foods that humans have been eating for thousands of years, knowing, without knowing, that they supported the invisible ecosystem within. Your intestinal lining is only 1 cell thick, the most renewable tissue in the body, every 3 to 5 days, completely replaced. And those cells must form tight junctions like hands, holding hands, preventing anything from slipping between. But stress, poor diet, alcohol, antibiotics, NSAID painkillers, they loosen those junctions. Zonulin proteins increase, gaps appear, and through those gaps, lipopolysaccharides from bacterial membranes enter the bloodstream. The immune system detects them, responds. Inflammation rises. Leaky gut may be at the root of autoimmune conditions, allergies, brain fog, mood disorders. The gut and the brain, connected by the vagus nerve, by blood, by signaling molecules that travel both ways. But fiber, polyphenols, omega-3s, they tighten those junctions, they feed beneficial bacteria, they calm. The immune response, healing, can begin in the dark, digesting nothing, fasting through the night, allowing the gut to rest and repair. So heavy, so still, your breath like distant waves, slow, rhythmic. Polyphenols, those colourful compounds from plants, flavonoids, anthocyanins that make berries purple, blue, quercetin in onions, apples, making your eyes water when you cut them, but inside they're activating antioxidant response elements, turning on genes for detoxification, for protection. Curcumin from turmeric, golden, bright, it modulates dozens of signaling pathways. NF-kappa B, the master switch of inflammation. Curcumin turns it down, paired with black pepper. Piperine, absorption increases 20-fold, traveling through your liver, your brain, your joints, reducing pain, reducing the slow burn of chronic inflammation. Lycopene, red pigment in tomatoes, watermelon. When tomatoes are cooked, their cell walls break down, releasing lycopene, which then dissolves in olive oil, becomes bioavailable. It concentrates in the prostate, the testes, in cardiovascular tissue. A powerful antioxidant protecting lipids from oxidation. LDL cholesterol, when oxidized, becomes inflammatory. dangerous, but lycopene prevents that transformation. Anthocyanins from blueberries, blackberries, cherries, they cross the blood-brain barrier, accumulating in the hippocampus, supporting memory, neuroplasticity. They improve endothelial function, reducing arterial stiffness, making vessels supple, young, again. Green tea, especially matcha, where the whole leaf is ground, consumed, provides L-theanine, an amino acid that crosses into the brain, increasing alpha waves, the same brain waves present right now as you drift toward sleep, calm, focus without jitters. And EGCG, epigallocatechin-galate, the primary catechin, it activates AMPK, that cellular energy sensor, mimicking some effects of fasting, of exercise. Dark chocolate, at least 70% cacao, rich in flavonols. They increase cerebral blood flow. They improve insulin sensitivity. They feed gut bacteria, which then produce anti-inflammatory compounds. Just a small piece, mindfully melting on your tongue, is enough to deliver these benefits, pleasure and health, intertwined deeper now into the space between wake and sleep, the hypnagogic realm where thoughts become images, images dissolve, cellular repair, intensifying, omega-3 fatty acids, EPA and DHA from fatty fish, salmon, mackerel, sardines, anchovies, swimming in cold northern waters, their flesh concentrated with these essential fats. You cannot make them in sufficient quantities. You must obtain them from food. They incorporate into every cell membrane, making them fluid, flexible. Receptors can move, cluster, signal properly, and they're converted into resolvin, protectins, molecules that actively resolve inflammation. They don't just suppress it, they guide the immune system back to balance, back to homeostasis. The brain is 60% fat, much of that. DHA, neuronal membranes, synaptic vesicles, all enriched with omega-3s, supporting neurotransmission, learning, memory, mood regulation. Low omega-3 is linked to depression, anxiety, cognitive decline. But even modest supplementation can shift the trajectory. Walnuts, the only nut rich in ALA, alpha-linolenic acid, a plant-based omega-3. Your body can convert some of it to EPA and DHA, though not efficiently, but still. Walnuts offer melatonin, polyphenols, fiber. A handful a day improves gut microbiome, diversity, reduces inflammation, supports brain health. Their very shape, like a brain, an ancient signature of their benefit. Almonds, rich in vitamin E, a fat-soluble antioxidant, protecting cell membranes from lipid peroxidation and magnesium 300 enzymatic reactions depend on it. ATP synthesis, DNA repair, muscle relaxation, nerve function. Most people are deficient in magnesium. That's because soils are depleted, because stress depletes it from cells. Everything softening, dissolving, boundaries between body and bed fading. AMPK, AMP-activated protein kinase, that cellular energy sensor, when energy runs low, when ATP drops, AMPK activates. It shifts metabolism toward catabolism, breaking down fat, glycogen, producing energy. It inhibits anabolic processes, synthesis, growth, and crucially, it activates autophagy, clearing damaged components, increasing the mitochondrial biogenesis. It's the mechanism by which fasting, exercise, certain compounds extend lifespan in every organism. Tested. mTOR, mechanistic target of rapamycin, is the opposite. When nutrients are abundant, especially amino acids like leucine, mTOR activates. It promotes growth, protein synthesis, cell division. This is necessary for building muscle, healing wounds, but chronic mTOR activation accelerates aging, increases cancer risk. The key is oscillation. Periods of mTOR activation, followed by mTOR inhibition, feast and fast, build and clean. Your ancestors lived this way by necessity, and your body is designed for this rhythm. Fasting mimicking effects can come from compounds, resveratrol, from grapes, from red wine in moderation, activates sirtuins, those longevity genes, which decetylate histons and other proteins, altering gene expression toward stress resistance, DNA repair, spermidine in wheat germ, soybeans, aged cheese, mushrooms, induces autophagy, extends lifespan in yeast, flies, worms, mice. Even human studies show those with higher spermidine intake live longer with less cardiovascular disease. Your circadian rhythm aligning to the dark, suprachiasmatic nucleus in your hypothalamus detecting the absence of blue light, signaling the pineal gland to secrete melatonin. Melatonin, more than a sleep signal, it's a powerful antioxidant, scavenging hydroxyl radicals, one of the few antioxidants that can enter mitochondria, protecting them from within. It stimulates antioxidant enzymes. It modulates the immune system. It even has anti-cancer properties by regulating cell division, apoptosis. During sleep, especially deep slow-wave sleep, cellular repair peaks, growth hormone pulses from the pituitary. It stimulates tissue repair, muscle growth, fat breakdown. Children secrete large amounts, adults less, but it's still crucial, and it's primarily released during the first third of the night. Deep, dreamless sleep. Cortisol should be low now, but if stress is chronic, if you lie here, mind racing, cortisol remains elevated. It suppresses the immune system, dampens T cell function, NK cell activity, increases Inflammation raises blood sugar, breaks down muscle tissue. Chronic stress is a thief, stealing your health, your resilience, your longevity. But this moment, right here, listening to softness, allowing muscles to release, you are actively lowering cortisol, activating the parasympathetic nervous system. Rest, digest, heal. The vagus nerve sending signals, heart rate, slowing, digestion, resuming immune function, recovering. Epigenetics, the layer above genetics, methyl groups, acetyl groups, attaching to DNA, histones, not changing the sequence, but changing which genes are expressed, which silenced. DNA methylation usually silences genes, and patterns of methylation are influenced by diet, stress, toxins, exercise, even the foods your grandmother ate while pregnant may have marked your epigenome, passed down through generations, but it's reversible. Folate from leafy greens, B12 from animal products, betaine from beets. They provide methyl groups for proper methylation. Same S-adenosylmethionine, the universal methyl donor, synthesized in your liver right now. Histone acetylation opens up chromatin, allows transcription. Butyrate from gut bacteria is a histone deacetylase inhibitor. It keeps histones acetylated, keeps genes accessible. This is one way fiber, gut health, influences gene expression throughout the body. So much happening silently, invisibly, while you rest. Nutrient sensing pathways, insulin signaling, IGF-1. When you eat, especially refined carbs, sugar, insulin spikes. Glucose enters cells, but chronic high insulin leads to insulin resistance. Cells stop listening. Glucose remains in blood, causing glycation, where sugar binds to proteins, forming advanced glycation end products, AGEs. They stiffen tissues, crosslink, collagen, age your skin, your vessels, your organs. But insulin sensitivity can be restored through fasting, through exercise, through foods low on the glycemic index. Cinnamon, apple cider vinegar, they blunt glucose spikes. Fiber slows sugar absorption. Resistant starch from cooled potatoes, cooled rice, feeds bacteria, improves metabolic health. Your cells communicating always. Cytokines, chemical messengers, interleukins, interferons, tumor necrosis factor. They can be pro-inflammatory or anti-inflammatory. The balance determines your health trajectory. IL-6 can promote or resolve inflammation depending on context. IL-10, strongly anti-inflammatory. TGF-beta, regulating immune responses, tissue repair, growth factors like VEGF. Vascular endothelial, growth factor, stimulating angiogenesis. In wounds, this is healing. In tumors, it's dangerous. Your body must regulate precisely. and anti-angiogenic foods help. They don't stop angiogenesis, they balance it. Green tea, soy, tomatoes, berries, they prevent excessive vessel growth. They starve micrometastases before they can establish blood supply, a dietary form of chemoprevention, tissue regeneration, continuous, your skin renewing every 2 to 4 weeks, your liver regenerating within months. Even if 2/3 is removed, it grows back, the only organ with such capacity, and the gut every 3 to 5 days, completely new. Wound healing occurs in phases: hemostasis, clotting, then inflammation, immune cells, clearing debris, then proliferation, new tissue, forming, granulation, angiogenesis, finally remodeling, collagen, reorganizing, scar, fading. This process requires vitamin C for collagen synthesis, zinc for cell division, protein for building blocks, and adequate blood flow, bringing oxygen, nutrients, anything that improves circulation, improves healing. The brain has its own waste clearance system, the glymphatic system. It activates during sleep, especially during deep sleep, cerebrospinal fluid flowing through channels along blood vessels, washing through brain tissue, carrying away metabolic waste, beta amyloid, tau, proteins that accumulate during waking hours, and if not cleared, contribute to neurodegeneration. Sleep on your side enhances glymphatic clearance. The lateral position allows optimal flow. Chronic sleep deprivation impairs this system. Wastes build up, brain fog, memory problems, eventually disease. But tonight, as you sleep deeply, your brain is bathing in clear fluid, cleansing, renewing, preparing for tomorrow. Let go of everything. The body knows what to do. It has always known. Cellular detoxification happening constantly. Phase Y, enzymes in the liver. Cytochrome P450s, taking toxins, drugs, hormones, making them more reactive, sometimes more dangerous, temporarily. This is why grapefruit juice can interact with medications. It inhibits certain P450s, changing drug metabolism. But then, phase 2, conjugation, glucuronidation, sulfation, methylation, acetylation, glutathione conjugation. These reactions attach water-soluble groups to toxins, making them excretable through urine, bile. Glutathione, that master detoxifier, conjugates to thousands of compounds, heavy metals, pesticides, metabolic byproducts, but it gets depleted by toxins, by alcohol, by acetaminophen, and it must be regenerated through glutathione reductase using NADPH from the pentose phosphate pathway. Cruciferous vegetable, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, kale, They contain glucosinolates, which break down to sulforaphane isothiocyanates. These activate NRF2, a transcription factor that turns on antioxidant response elements, genes for glutathione synthesis, phase 2 enzymes, catalysts, ESOD, a coordinated upregulation of cellular defense. Just eating broccoli sprouts, 3-day-old, highest in sulforaphane, can measurably increase these protective systems within hours. Food as genetic instruction. Your body, mostly water, 60% of your weight. And water is not passive, it's structured around proteins, around cell membranes, hydrogen bonds forming, breaking constantly. Cellular hydration isn't just about drinking water, it's about electrolytes, maintaining osmotic gradients, sodium, potassium, the sodium-potassium pump, ATPase, using ATP to move 3 sodium ions out, 2 potassium ions in, maintaining the electrochemical gradient that powers nerve impulses, muscle contractions, nutrient transport. Magnesium required for ATP to function. An ATP molecule is really me ATP. Without magnesium, energy metabolism falters. Over 300 enzymes need it, and most people are deficient. Selenium in Brazil, nuts, shellfish, an essential component of glutathione peroxidase, of thyrodoxine reductase, antioxidant enzymes that protect your DNA, your lipids. Too much selenium is toxic, but 2 Brazil nuts provides the perfect amount: zinc for immune cells, for wound healing, for taste and smell, for hundreds of zinc finger transcription factors that bind DNA, regulate genes. Oysters are richest, but pumpkin seeds, chickpeas, cashews provide plant-based sources. Iron, carefully regulated, too little, and you're anemic. Oxygen delivery, impaired, too much, and it generates hydroxyl radicals through Fenton reactions, causing oxidative damage. Most of the body's iron is bound to hemoglobin in red blood cells. Ferritin stores excess in the liver. Transferrin transports it in blood. This careful choreography of uptake, storage, excretion. Women lose iron with menstruation and often need supplementation. Men rarely do. Vitamin C enhances iron absorption. Tannins in tea inhibit it. Everything connected, everything in balance. The cell membrane, not just a barrier, it's a dynamic, fluid structure, a lipid bilayer, phospholipids, with hydrophilic heads facing water, hydrophobic tails facing inward, studded with proteins, receptors, channels, transporters, cholesterol, interspersed, modulating fluidity. Too fluid, and the membrane leaks. Too rigid, and it can't function properly. Cholesterol, often vilified, but essential for membrane integrity, for synthesizing steroid hormones, estrogen, testosterone, cortisol, for vitamin D production in skin. The problem is not cholesterol itself, but oxidized LDL cholesterol, small dense particles that infiltrate arterial walls, triggering immune responses, atherosclerosis. But large, fluffy LDL is relatively benign, and HDL, high-density lipoprotein, carries cholesterol back to the liver for excretion. Reverse cholesterol transport, protective. What matters is the balance, the particle size, the oxidation, status, and diet influences this. Saturated fat increases LDL, but also increases HDL and particle size. Trans fats, the artificial ones, unambiguously harmful. Unsaturated fats, especially olive oil, avocados, nuts, improve the lipid profile, reduce oxidation, support endothelial health. Lipid rafts, specialized domains in the membrane enriched with cholesterol, sphingolipids, where receptors cluster, where signaling is amplified. Proteins move in and out of these rafts dynamically. It's a level of organization within the membrane, allowing precise spatial control of cellular communication, drifting weightless through the molecular, the microscopic, everything dissolving into sensation, warm, dark, safe, cellular energy efficiency, mitochondria generating ATP, but how efficiently depends on mitochondrial coupling. Coupled respiration, most energy becomes ATP. Uncoupled, some energy dissipates as heat. Brown adipose tissue has uncoupled mitochondria deliberately. It burns calories as heat, thermogenesis. Babies have lots to stay warm. Adults retain some in the neck, shoulders, supraclavicular region, and it can be increased through cold exposure, exercise. Irisin, a myokine from muscle, stimulates browning of white fat. White adipose tissue stores energy as triglycerides, but in excess, especially visceral fat, around organs, it becomes inflammatory, secreting cytokines like IL-6, TNF-alpha, resistin, reducing insulin sensitivity, adipokines, leptin, adiponectin. The balance shifts toward metabolic dysfunction. But weight loss, even modest, reduces inflammation, improves metabolic flexibility, the ability only to switch between burning glucose and fat. A metabolically flexible person can fast comfortably, can exercise, fasted, can adapt to varied diets. Metabolic flexibility requires healthy mitochondria, adequate insulin sensitivity, balanced hormones, and it's enhanced by fasting, by ketogenic diets, by exercise, by avoiding constant grazing on high glycemic foods. When you fast, insulin drops, glucagon rises, stimulating lipolysis, fat breakdown, free fatty acids travel to the liver, converted to ketone bodies, beta-hydroxybutyrate, acetoacetate. These cross the blood-brain barrier, fueling the brain They also signal, they activate AMPK, inhibit, mTOR, promote autophagy. They're anti-inflammatory, neuroprotective. They extend lifespan. In animal models, you don't need a ketogenic diet to access these benefits. Intermittent fasting, time-restricted eating, even just 12 hours overnight allows a transition into fat burning, into mild ketosis, hormesis, the principle that mild stress strengthens, too much stress damages, but just enough activates adaptive responses, leaving you stronger, more resilient. Exercise is hormesis, muscles stressed, microtears, in fibers, inflammation, but then repair, satellite cells fusing, forming new fibers, mitochondrial biogenesis, angiogenesis, bringing more blood flow. The muscle grows, adapts, become more fatigue resistant. And not just the muscle, exercise releases myokines, IL-6 from contracting muscle, paradoxically anti-inflammatory, despite being a pro-inflammatory cytokine elsewhere. Context matters. Irisin, promoting, browning, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF, supporting neuroplasticity, learning, memory. Exercise is medicine for the brain as much as the body. Muscle immune crosstalk. Muscles are endocrine organs. They communicate to you with immune cells, modulating systemic inflammation, supporting immune surveillance. People with greater muscle mass have better immune function, better outcomes from infections, from vaccines, sarcopenia. Age-related muscle loss is not inevitable. Resistance training, adequate protein can preserve, even build muscle at any age. You're so relaxed now, barely as aware as of your limbs, your breathing, automatic, shallow, perfect. Cold exposure, another hormetic, stress, activates brown fat, increases norepinephrine, dopamine, enhances mood, focus, reduces inflammation, improves insulin sensitivity. Even brief cold showers trigger adaptive responses. Heat exposure, sauna, increases heat shock proteins, chaperones that refold misfolded proteins or target them for degradation. Protects against protein aggregation, cardiovascular disease, even Alzheimer's. Regular sauna use 4 to 7 times per week associated with significantly reduced mortality, all-cause cardiovascular, even dementia. Hormesis extends to phytochemicals, plant toxins in small amounts, activating stress response pathways, NRF2, sirtuins, AMPK. They're called xenohormetics, resveratrol, curcumin, sulforaphane, quercetin. Plants produce them as defense compounds against insects, pathogens, and when we eat them, they activate our own defenses, an evolutionary partnership. Your stem cells are responding to signals, growth factors like FGF, fibroblast growth factor, EGF, epidermal growth factor. They bind to receptors, triggering cascades, MAPK, PI3K ACT, pathways that promote proliferation, differentiation, or maintain quiescence, keeping stem cells in reserve. The bone marrow niche is hypoxic, low oxygen. This preserves hematopoietic stem cells, prevents oxidative damage, maintains stemness. But when needed, they're mobilized, enter circulation, home to sites of injury, infection, begin differentiation into needed cell types. In the gut, crypt base, columnar cells, the stem cells divide daily. One daughter climbs the crypt, differentiating, becoming enterocyte, goblet cell, Paneth cell, enteroendocrine cell. The other stays behind, dividing. Again, a constant renewal that allows the gut to replace itself so frequently. This rapid turnover makes the gut vulnerable to chemotherapy, radiation, which target rapidly dividing cells, but it also means the gut can recover quickly. When the insult ceases, resilience built into the system everywhere inside you right now, cells dividing, dying, cleaning, building an invisible architecture of maintenance. Free radicals not always bad. Reactive oxygen species in controlled amounts are signaling molecules. Hydrogen peroxide acts as a second messenger. After growth factors bind receptors, ROS, are generated briefly, locally. They oxidize cysteine residues on proteins, activating them. Then antioxidants quench the signal. This is redox signaling, and it's essential for normal cellular function. Too many antioxidants can interfere with this, can blunt the benefits of exercise. The hormetic stress that triggers adaptation involves ROS, high-dose antioxidant supplements, especially synthetic ones, may not be beneficial, may even be harmful. But antioxidants from food are different. They come with fiber, polyphenols, other compounds in a matrix that modulates absorption, and they support the body's own antioxidant systems rather than replacing them. Redox balance, not the absence of oxidants, but the appropriate ratio, enough for signaling, not so much. That damage accumulates. Your body manages this exquisitely, given the right inputs. Sinking, every cell in your body bathed in interstitial fluid, the space between cells where nutrients diffuse in, wastes diffuse out, lymphatic vessels collecting excess fluid, returning it to circulation, immune cells patrolling through lymph to lymph nodes where antigens are presented, adaptive responses initiated. The lymphatic system has no pump. It relies on muscle contractions, breathing, movement, sedentary. lifestyle allows fluid to stagnate, wastes accumulate, movement, even gentle walking, yoga stimulates lymphatic flow, enhances detoxification, immune function. Deep in, the brain, the pineal gland, secreting melatonin more and more as the night deepens. Darkness is not the absence of light. It's a signal, an instruction to the body. Now is the time for repair, for restoration, for dreams. And dreams are not random noise. They're processing, emotional memories being integrated, synaptic pruning, strengthening important connections, weakening irrelevant ones, the hippocampus replaying the day's events, consolidating them into long-term memory in the cortex. REM sleep, rapid eye movement, when most dreaming occurs, characterized by theta waves, similar to waking consciousness. But the body is paralyzed, atonia, so you don't act out your dreams. Acetylcholine, high, driving, cortical activation, norepinephrine, serotonin, low. This unique neurochemical state allows for creative associations, emotional processing. Sleep deprivation impairs memory consolidation, emotional regulation, immune function, metabolic health. Even one night of poor sleep reduces insulin sensitivity, increases ghrelin, the hunger hormone, decreases leptin, the satiety hormone. You feel hungrier, crave high-calorie foods, a vicious cycle leading to weight gain, metabolic disease. But sufficient sleep, 7 to 9 hours for most adults, restores all of this. Prioritizing sleep is one of the most powerful health interventions available, and it's free. Melatonin, synthesized from serotonin via arylylkylamine N-acetyltransferase, peaks around 2 to 4 a.m., binding MT1 and MT2 receptors across brain and periphery, slowing wake-promoting orexin neurons in the hypothalamus, lowering core temperature, quieting alertness. Blue light from screens suppresses it sharply. Even dim exposure delays onset, diminishes amplitude, mimicking perpetual daylight, disrupting ancestral rhythm. Sleep cycles, 90-minute loops, alternating non-REM, stages 1 through 3, and REM, early night, dominated by deep slow-wave sleep, delta waves, where growth hormone pulses, tissue repair surges, immune cytokines rise. Late night, REM dominates, brain activity rivals wakefulness. Yet voluntary muscles, flaccid via glycine and GABA inhibition. From brainstem, preventing enactment, PGO waves, pontogeniculo-occipital, spark vivid imagery, emotional salience, processed without noradrenergic filter, allowing fear extinction, trauma integration, creativity blooms, hippocampal replay during slow wave, sharp wave ripples, compressed daytime sequences 10 to 20 times faster, transferring to neocortex for durable storage. REM complements by weakening extraneous synapses homeostatic scaling down, clearing noise, preserving signal. Deprived of this, memories fade, anxiety lingers, novel solutions evade. Metabolically, sleep debt mimics fasting stress, cortisol rises, insulin resistance climbs. Within 24 hours, adipose tissue inflames, gut permeability increases, microbiota shifts toward obesogenic profiles. Longitudinal studies, as of late 2025, confirm habitual short sleep under 6 hours doubles diabetes risk, triples obesity, independently of diet or exercise, while extension trials adding 1 to 2 hours reverses markers in weeks. Neuroimmune crosstalk, profound. During sleep, T cells rise, pro-inflammatory cytokines dip, allowing repair. Chronic deprivation sustains low-grade inflammation, accelerating atherosclerosis, neurodegeneration, cancer progression. Even vaccination efficacy drops. Antibody titers halved in sleep-restricted cohorts. Circadian genes, clock, BMAL1, purr, cry, orchestrate thousands of transcript in every cell. Misalignment, shift work, jet lag, desynchronizes organs. Liver clocks lag brain, gut clocks drift, driving metabolic chaos. Melatonin, beyond sleep, directly antioxidant, mitochondrial protector, sirtuin activator, cancer suppressor. In high doses, restoration cascades, autophagy ramps. Mitophagy clears damaged mitochondria, glymphatic flow peaks, tenfold clearance of amyloid beta, alpha-synuclein, tail, preventing aggregates, DNA repair enzymes peak, PARP, ERCC1, fixing wake-induced lesions, hormesis resolved. Mastery lies in hygiene, consistent timing, even weekends, anchors rhythm, morning light, 10,000 lux, sets phase, evening dimness, amber hues, preserves melatonin, cool darkness, 60 to 67 Fahrenheit, signals depth, no caffeine past noon, alcohol fragments REM, exercise early, enhances slow wave, magnesium, glycine, apigenin, gentle aids. Without tolerance, in an always-on world, sleep remains the ultimate recovery modality, non-negotiable, profoundly regenerative, shaping cognition, mood, metabolism, immunity, longevity, all from surrender to ancient darkness. You're deep in it now. Slow wave sleep, delta waves, the deepest, most restorative stage, growth hormone, pulsing, immune system, recalibrating, the glymphatic system, flushing, wastes from the brain, memories, dissolving, reforming, time, losing, meaning, your microbiome, even now, active, fermenting, fibers that reached the colon undigested, producing butyrate, which diffuses into colonocytes, providing 70% of their energy and signaling beyond. Butyrate travels to the liver, suppresses gluconeogenesis, improves insulin sensitivity. It travels to the brain, crosses the blood-brain barrier, acts as an HDAC inhibitor, influences gene expression, mood, cognition. Propionate, another short-chain fatty acid, reduces cholesterol synthesis in the liver, signals satiety through gut hormones like PFI, GLP-1. These hormones slow gastric emptying, reduce appetite. This is one way. Fiber promotes weight loss. Acetate, the third major SCFA, absorbed into blood, used by peripheral tissues for energy, affects lipid metabolism, influences appetite regulation in the brain, your gut bacteria, producing vitamins, B vitamins, vitamin K2, essential nutrients. You don't get enough of from diet alone. They're synthesizing neurotransmitters, precursors, GABA, serotonin. 90% of serotonin is made in the gut, not in the brain. The gut, truly a second brain. The enteric nervous system, 500 million neurons, lining the GI tract, more than the spinal cord. It can operate independently of the brain, controlling peristalsis, secretion, blood flow, but it's connected to the CNS via the vagus nerve, sending signals up, receiving signals down. The gut-brain axis, bidirectional communication. Stress affects the gut, altering motility, increasing permeability, shifting the microbiome toward dysbiosis, and gut dysfunction affects the brain. Mood disorders, anxiety, depression often linked us to gut issues. Treating the gut can improve mental health. Psychobiotics, probiotics that affect the brain. Lactobacillus rhamnosus, Bifidobacterium longum. They reduce anxiety, depression in animal models and some human trials. The mechanisms are unclear, but likely involve SCFA is neurotransmitter production, immune modulation, vagal signaling, floating through inner space, awareness, flickering like a candle, almost extinguished. Cytokine balance, the conversation of the immune system. Pro-inflammatory, necessary for fighting infection, clearing damage, but chronic elevation drives disease. IL-1, IL-6, TNF-alpha, elevated in obesity, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, cancer, Alzheimer's, depression. They're called inflammaging, the low-grade chronic inflammation of aging. But anti-inflammatory cytokines, IL-10, TGF-beta, IL-4, they counterbalance, they resolve, they instruct macrophages to switch from M1, pro-inflammatory, to M2, anti-inflammatory, tissue-repairing phenotype. This balance is influenced by diet. Omega-3s, polyphenols, fiber shift toward anti-inflammatory. Omega-6, especially from processed seed oils, when excessive, shift toward pro-inflammatory, but omega-6 aren't inherently bad. The ratio matters. Ancestral diets had ratios of 1:1 to 4.1 omega-6 to omega-3. Modern Western diets, 20.1 or higher. This imbalance contributes to chronic inflammation. VEGF vascular endothelial growth factor in wounds. It's essential, stimulating new blood vessels to reach healing tissue. In exercise, it supports angiogenesis in muscles, improving oxygen delivery performance in the brain. It supports neurogenesis, the birth of new neurons in the hippocampus. But in cancer, VEGF is hijacked. Tumors secrete it, recruiting blood vessels. Angiogenesis allows them just to grow beyond for a few millimeters and to metastasize, cells entering vessels, traveling to distant sites, establishing new colonies. Anti-angiogenic therapy blocks VEGF, starves tumors, and diet provides natural VEGF inhibitors. Soy contains genistein. Green tea, EGCG, tomatoes, lycopene, berries, ellagic acid. They don't block VEGF completely, they modulate it, keep it in balance, allowing normal angiogenesis, preventing pathological. This is the power of food. Its information, signaling molecules are entering the cells, binding receptors, altering gene expression. You are literally built from what you eat. Every cell replaced over time with new atoms from food. You become your diet. Your liver, the great metabolic hub, receives blood from the gut via the portal vein. First pass for nutrients, toxins, drugs. It filters, detoxifies, synthesizes proteins, glucose, ketones, cholesterol, bile, a multitasking organ with over 500 functions. Phase Y enzymes, creating intermediate metabolites. Phase 2, conjugating them, making them water-soluble. Then excretion into bile, which flows to the gallbladder, concentrated, and during meals, released into the small intestine. Bile acids emulsify fats, aid absorption, but also are signaling molecules as binding to FXR, farnesoid X receptor, TGR5, regulating metabolism, inflammation, even microbiome composition. Gut bacteria can deconjugate bile acids, modifying them. Some are reabsorbed enterohepatic circulation, 95% recycled, 5% excreted in feces. This is one way. Soluble fiber lowers cholesterol. It binds bile acids, preventing reabsorption. The liver must make more, using cholesterol from the blood. Everything connected: liver, gut, microbiome, immune system, a web of interactions so complex no computer can fully model it, yet your body navigates it effortlessly. Billions of years of evolution encoded in every cell. The thymus behind your breastbone, where T cells mature. It's large in children and shrinks with age. Thymic involution. By middle age, mostly fat. This is why immune function declines. Fewer new T cells produced. The repertoire narrows. You become more susceptible to infections, less able to respond to vaccines. But the MIC function can be partially preserved, caloric restriction, intermittent fasting, growth hormone, which is why growth hormone levels correlate with thymic size, and certain compounds, metformin, rapamycin in animal studies, slow thymic aging. Clinical trials are underway to test if these or other interventions can reverse immunosenescence. Aging is not a linear decline. It's a process amenable to intervention, slowing, possibly even partially reversing. The field of geroscience, aging biology, is exploding. Senolytics, that clear senescent cells, NAD+ precursors that restore mitochondrial function, parabiosis experiments showing young blood rejuvenates. Old tissues. We're at the beginning of understanding how to extend health span, the years of healthy life. But you don't need drugs to start. The lifestyle factors, sleep, diet, exercise, stress management, social connection, they're foundational. Animal studies show that diet and exercise can match or exceed the benefits of any drug, and they're available now. No prescription needed. Your body already knows how to heal. You just need to remove the obstacles, provide the inputs it requires, then step back. Let the wisdom of billions of years of evolution unfold. Almost asleep now. Thoughts fragmenting, images arising, dissolving. The boundary between inner and outer gone. Phospholipids in every cell membrane, a hydrophilic head, glycerol backbone, phosphate group, two hydrophobic fatty acid tails. They spontaneously form bilayers in water, the basis of cellular life. Without membranes, no compartmentalization, no gradients, no life, and the fatty acids in those membranes determine fluidity, function, saturated fats, straight, pack tightly, rigid membranes, unsaturated fats kinked from double bonds, can't pack as tightly, more fluid membranes. This affects receptor function, ion channels, everything embedded in that membrane. Eating fish rich in omega-3s, those incorporate into membranes, making them more fluid, improving receptor sensitivity, including insulin receptors. This is one mechanism by which omega-3s improve metabolic health. Phosphatidylserine, a specific phospholipid enriched in the brain, supports memory, cognition, reduces cortisol in response to stress, found in soybeans, white beans, egg yolks, but cooking degrades it. Supplementation is common, especially in older adults or those with cognitive decline. Phosphatidylcholine, another key phospholipid, precursor to acetylcholine, the neurotransmitter for learning, memory, muscle contraction, found in eggs, liver, soybeans. It can be converted to trimethylamine by gut bacteria, then to TMAO in the liver, which in excess may contribute to cardiovascular disease. But in the context of a whole foods diet with fiber, polyphenols, the production of TMAO is minimized. Again, context matters. Barely aware. Now, consciousness, like fog, lifting, settling, drifting, ceramides, sphingolipids that accumulate in insulin resistance. They interfere with insulin signaling in muscle, liver, adipose, high-fat diets, especially saturated fats, can increase ceramide levels, but exercise reduces them. Adiponectin, the beneficial adipokine, reduces them. Certain foods like green tea, bergamot, may help lower ceramides, and emerging research shows that targeting ceramide metabolism could be a therapeutic strategy for diabetes, metabolic syndrome. But again, you don't need to worry about individual gas molecules. Just eat real food, move your body, sleep well. The complexity takes care of itself. Your bones, living tissue, constantly remodeling, osteoclasts, breaking down, old bone, osteoblasts, building, new bone. In youth, building outpaces breakdown. Bones grow, strengthen, peak bone mass reached around age 30, then gradually breakdown exceeds building, especially in women after menopause, when estrogen tone declines. But bone health is modifiable. Weight-bearing exercise signals osteoblasts to strengthen. Calcium, vitamin D, vitamin K2, magnesium are essential. Protein provides the matrix. Collagen, upon which minerals are deposited. Vitamin K2, often overlooked, activates osteocalcin, which binds calcium into bone. Also activates matrix clay protein, which prevents calcium from depositing in arteries, soft tissues. So K2 directs calcium to bones, away from blood vessels. Found in natto, fermented soybeans, egg yolks from pastured chickens, hard cheeses. Sunlight converts 7-dehydrocholesterol in your skin to vitamin D3, which travels to the liver, then kidneys, becoming active calcitriol. This hormone increases calcium absorption in the gut. It also modulates immune function, gene expression. Vitamin D receptors are found in nearly every cell. It's more than a vitamin, it's a hormone system. But modern life keeps us indoors. Deficiency is epidemic. Supplementation or regular sun exposure, especially in winter, is essential for most people. Deep, deep in cellular night, where everything is silent, still, dark, warm, safe. NAD+, nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide, a coenzyme in every cell, essential for glycolysis, the citric acid cycle, oxidative phosphorylation, all of energy, metabolism, depends on it. But also, it's consumed by sirtuins, those longevity proteins, and by PARPs, poly-ADP ribose polymerases, that repair DNA damage. With age, NAD+ levels decline. Some researchers believe this is a central driver of aging. Declining energy, declining DNA repair, declining sirtuin activity. But NAD+ can be boosted through precursors, nicotinamide riboside, NR, nicotinamide mononucleotide, NMN. Both convert to NAD+ in cells, or through lifestyle. Exercise increases NAD+. Fasting increases it. Eating foods with niacin, B3, also helps. Mushrooms, green vegetables, fish. But supplementation with NR or NMN is becoming popular for those seeking to optimize cellular function. Though long-term effect in humans are still being studied, senescent cells, we touched on them earlier, but they deserve more attention. They accumulate with age in nearly every tissue, and they secrete a toxic cocktail of inflammatory cytokines, proteases, growth factors, called the SAS, senescence-associated secretory phenotype. This poisons the tissue microenvironment, inhibits stem cell function, promotes fibrosis. Cancer accelerates aging, but senolytics, drugs or compounds that selectively kill senescent cells, they clear them, and in mice, this extends health span, delays age-related diseases, even extends lifespan. The combination of dasatinib, a cancer drug, and quercetin, the flavonoid from onions, is the most studied senolytic. Human trials are ongoing in diseases like idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis, osteoarthritis, kidney disease. Fisetin, another flavonoid from strawberries, cucumbers, also has senolytic properties, and it crosses the blood-brain barrier, potentially clearing senescent cells from the brain. Some people are already experimenting with intermittent high-dose fisetin or quercetin. Self-experimentation in aging is growing, but caution is warranted until we understand long-term effects. Your consciousness flickering out, in, out. No longer sure if you're thinking or dreaming. The extracellular matrix, the scaffold between cells, collagen, elastin, glycosaminoglycans, hyaluronic acid. It provides structural support, but also influences cell behavior through integrins, receptors that span the membrane. Cells sense the stiffness, the composition of the matrix, and respond, differentiating, migrating, proliferating accordingly. With age, the matrix changes. Collagen crosslinks become stiffer. Elastin fragments, glycation from high blood sugar damages matrix proteins. Ages accumulate. The tissue environment shifts. and cells behave differently. Stem cells become quiescent. Fibroblasts produce more collagen, leading to fibrosis. But matrix remodeling is continuous. Metalloproteinases, MMPs, degrade old matrix. New components are synthesized. Vitamin C is essential for collagen synthesis, copper for cross-linking amino acids, glycine, proline, hydroxyproline from bone broth, gelatin provide building blocks, and movement, mechanical stress signals cells to maintain the matrix. Immobility leads to atrophy, degradation. This is why bed rest is so detrimental. Muscles atrophy, bones weaken, cardiovascular fitness declines rapidly. Movement is life. Breathing so shallow, so soft, barely there. Autophagy. Let's return to this because it's central to cellular rejuvenation. The word means self-eating, but it's not destructive. It's recycling. It's renewal. When you eat constantly, mTOR is active. Protein synthesis is high. Autophagy is low. Growth mode. But growth without clearance leads to accumulation of damage. This is why constant eating, especially high-protein meals, may accelerate aging. But when you fast, even just overnight, 16 hours, mTOR decreases, AMPK increases, autophagy ramps up, damaged mitochondria, misfolded proteins, lipid droplets, aggregates, all targeted, packaged, digested in mice. Lifelong caloric restriction extends lifespan by 30 to 40%. In every organism tested, reduced calories extends life. The mechanisms include autophagy, reduced mTOR, increased sirtuins, reduced oxidative stress, improved insulin sensitivity. Less food equals longer life. To a point, obviously, starvation is harmful. But in humans, prolonged caloric restriction is difficult, maybe unsustainable. But intermittent fasting, time-restricted eating, fasting mimicking diets, they provide many of the same benefits without chronic hunger, without social disruption. And certain foods mimic fasting. They're called caloric restriction mimetics: resveratrol, rapamycin, metformin, spermidine. They activate the same pathways that fasting activates, though whether they extend human lifespan remains to be proven. You're in the deepest place now, where repair is maximal, where the body fully takes over. Apoptosis, programmed cell death, is essential. During development, fingers and toes form as webs of tissue. Then cells in between undergo apoptosis, sculpting the digits. Throughout life, billions of cells die every day, and billions are born, replaced perfectly. Apoptosis prevents cancer when a cell suffers too much DNA damage. 53, as guardian of the genome, activates. It halts. The cell cycle activates DNA repair. If repair succeeds, The cell continues. If not, p53 triggers apoptosis. Better, one cell dies than risk a tumor. But p53 is the most commonly mutated gene in cancer. Over 50% of cancers have these 53 mutations. Without this guardian, damaged cells proliferate, accumulate mutations, eventually become malignant. Yet most cells, most of the time, function perfectly. Trillions of divisions with high fidelity, errors are rare, and when they occur, they're corrected, or the cell is eliminated. This is the robustness of biological systems: redundancy, error correction, fail-safes, all ensuring the integrity of the organism. There are two main pathways: extrinsic and intrinsic. The extrinsic, triggered by death ligands, like FASL or TNF, binding receptors on the surface, activating caspase-8, starting the executioner cascade. The intrinsic mitochondrial pathway responds to internal stress, DNA damage, oxidative hits. p53 upregulates BAX and BAC, permeabilizing the outer membrane, releasing cytochrome C, forming the apoptosis, activating caspase-9. Both converge on caspase-3, 6, 7, the molecular scissors, cleaving hundreds of targets. Lamin for nuclear collapse, gelselin for cytoskeleton, DNA fragmentation factor for orderly chromatin breakdown. The result: blebbing, shrinkage, DNA laddering, all without inflammation. Unlike necrosis, which spills contents, triggers immune alarm, apoptosis is quiet, efficient. Phagocytes engulf the remnants, marked by phosphatidylserine flip, recycling nutrients. No scar, no chaos. Dysregulation is catastrophic. Too little, cancer. Autoimmunity, too much, neurodegeneration, tissue wasting. Therapies target it. BH3 mimetics, like venetoclax, push resistant leukemias into apoptosis by mimicking pro-death signals. CAR T cells induce it in tumors via perforin and granzyme, restoring the failsafe. In aging, apoptosis resistance rises. Senescent cells evade it, accumulate, secrete inflammatory factors, driving systemic decline. Clearing them with senolytics restores tissue homeostasis, improves function. In mouse models, extends health span. Human trials, as of 2025, show promise for frailty, osteoarthritis, even pulmonary fibrosis. Sleep-driven cellular repair is real, measurable. Studies show sleep deprivation reduces autophagy, increases oxidative stress, impairs mitochondrial function, increases inflammation. Even one night of total sleep deprivation increases beta amyloid in the brain, that protein implicated in Alzheimer's, within hours, detectable on PET scans. But recovery sleep reverses this. The glymphatic system clears it. The brain resets. This is why pulling all-nighters is so harmful, especially repeatedly. Chronic sleep loss accelerates. Cognitive decline increases. Risk of dementia decades later. Prioritizing sleep is prioritizing longevity. It's non-negotiable. 7 to 9 hours, consistent schedule, dark room, cool temperature, no screens before bed. These simple steps profoundly impact health. During deep, slow-wave sleep, growth hormone surges, triggering tissue repair, protein synthesis, immune modulation, while REM sleep consolidates memory, prunes synapses, enhances plasticity, autophagy peaks, clearing misfolded proteins, damaged organelles in neurons, especially critical where turnover is lifelong. The glymphatic flow, discovered only a decade ago, expands perivascular spaces tenfold during sleep, driven by arterial pulsations and aquaporin-4 channels, flushing interstitial waste into cerebrospinal fluid, then venous drainage, beta amyloid, tau, alpha-synuclein, all cleared faster. Awake clearance is sluggish, explaining overnight buildup and chronic accumulation in insomniacs. Recent 2025 studies using wearable EEG and CSF sampling confirm that even partial restriction, 4 hours per night for a week, double STO levels, impairs DNA repair in circulating lymphocytes, while extension sleep after debt only partially compensates. The damage compounds, epigenetic clocks, accelerate. Telomere attrition hastens. Circadian alignment matters equally. Shift work, jet lag, misaligns repair cycles, increases cancer risk by 20%. In long-term studies, melatonin, suppressed by blue light, not only regulates sleep, but directly scavenges radicals, inhibits mTOR, activates sirtuins, a true longevity hormone. Practical mastery thus means ritual, dim lights, evening wind down, magnesium, glycine, or tart cherry. To boost endogenous melatonin, morning sunlight anchors the clock. Exercise early, avoids late cortisol spikes. Cold bedroom, 16 to 18 Celsius, signals ancestral cave. Deepening slow wave, the return, sharper cognition, stable mood, lower inflammation, stronger immunity, slower aging, all from the simplest, most ancient intervention. Rest. Let everything go. The body knows. Trust it. Surrender to the dark, to the repair, to the regeneration happening right now in every cell. Your skin, the largest organ, a barrier against the world, but also an immune organ. Langerhans cells in the epidermis, dendritic cells capturing antigens, presenting them to T cells. The skin is a first line of defense, and it regenerates constantly. Keratinocytes dividing in the basal layer, migrating upward, differentiating, flattening, eventually dying, forming the stratum corneum, dead cells filled with keratin that you shed constantly every 28 days, completely renewed. But skin aging is visible. Wrinkles, sagging, pigmentation from intrinsic factors, genetics, and extrinsic UV radiation, pollution. Smoking, collagen, and elastin in the dermis degrade. The matrix weakens, but antioxidants, topical and oral, can protect. Vitamin C stimulates collagen synthesis. Vitamin A, retinoids, increase cell turnover. Niacinamide improves barrier function, reduces inflammation. Sunscreen daily prevents UV damage, the most effective anti-aging intervention for skin and hydration from within. Drinking water is important, but also healthy fats in the diet. They're incorporated into skin, lipid barrier, keeping moisture in, ceramides, cholesterol, fatty acids, all needed for supple, healthy skin. The epidermis, outermost shield, comprises 5 layers. Stratum basal, where stem cells divide. Stratum spinosum, prickly with desmosomes. Stratum granulosum, granules for waterproofing. Stratum lucidum, clear in thick skin. And stratum corneum, the brick wall. Corneocytes mortared by lipids, impermeable to water. Pathogens, yet flexible. Immune sentinels abound. Langerhans patrol, sampling threats, migrating to lymph nodes, priming adaptive responses. Melanocytes dull melanin, shielding DNA, while Merkel cells sense touch. Beneath lies the dermis, dense connective tissue. Fibroblasts weave collagen, elastin for strength and snap. Blood vessels nourish, nerves signal, hair follicles, glands, rooted here. Hypodermis anchors, cushions with fat, insulates. Renewal relies on epidermal stem cells in bulge and basal, proliferating, differentiating, pushing upward in 28 to 40 days. Full turnover, but with age, slows. Thinning epidermis, flattening junction, reduced grip. Aging bifurcates, chronological, inevitable. Hormonal dip, telomere attrition, mitochondrial fade. Senescent cells accumulate, secreting saspus. Inflammatory cocktail. Degrading matrix, accelerating decline. As of late 2025, reviews highlight impaired autophagy, oxidative overload, epigenetic drift. The dermis, thicker than epidermis, mostly extracellular matrix. Type I collagen bundles for tensile strength, elastin fibers. For recoil, hyaluronic acid, glycosaminoglycans, holding water, plumping tissue, fibroblasts, the architects, sensing tension, remodeling constantly, producing, degrading, via MMPs and TIMPs, balance critical, papillary dermis, loose, interdigitates with epidermis, for anchorage, reticular dermis, dense, deep strength, vascular plexus, thermoregulation, nutrient delivery, sensory nerves, Pacinian for vibration, Meissner for light touch, free endings for pain, temperature, hypodermis, subcutaneous fat, varies by site, CX, age, adipocytes store energy, secrete adipokines, leptin, adiponectin, influencing inflammation, insulin sensitivity, acts as endocrine organ, mechanical cushion, thermal blanket. With age, fat redistributes, facial atrophy contributes sagging, while abdominal gains, stem cells drive renewal, epidermal in interfollicular basal, hair bulge, sebaceous glands, quiescent mostly, activated by injury or normal turnover, notch, want, beta-catenin signaling, guide differentiation, keratinocytes commit, express keratins, involucrin, loricrin, forming envelope, lipids extruded, ceramides, cholesterol, waterproof mortar, melanocytes transfer melanosomes for UV shield, turnover slows from 28 days young to 50 plus in elderly, stem pool depletes, niche stiffens, chronological aging, intrinsic, hormonal, postmenopause estrogen drops, thins dermis, slows fibroblasts, reduces collagen 7% per decade after 20, glycosylation stiffens, advanced glycation end products, cross-link fibers, yellowing, brittleness, mitochondrial ROS rises, 8-oxoguanine accumulates, DNA damage unchecked, telomeres shorten in dermal cells too, P16, 21 rise, senescence spreads, SASP, senescence-associated secretory phenotype, IL-6, IL-8, MMPs, TGF-beta, from stubborn cells, evading apoptosis, paracrine sabotage, degrading neighbors, recruiting immune, yet clearance fails, inflammaging ensues, low-grade fire, accelerating loss, autophagy declines, lysosomes clog, proteostasis falters, epigenetic marks drift, H3K27Me3 loss, H3K4Me3 gain, rejuvenation barriers, late 2025 insights, multiomic studies, reveal fibroblast subpopulations decline differently, papillary shrink first, visible thinning, reticular persist, but dysfunctional. Single-cell atlases show WAP-TIAS signaling fades, mechanotransduction weakens, stiff matrix vicious cycle, NAD plus depletion in dermis too, linking to sirtuin silence, collagen transcription falls, emerging counters, beyond surface, rapamycin analogues, boost autophagy, in skin models, clear senescent, restore thickness, peptide bioregulators, GHKQ, stimulate remodeling, stem cell exosomes, carry mRNAs, rejuvenate niche, red light therapy, 660 dianamians, boost mitochondrial cytochrome, collagen upregulation in RCTs, visible firmness gains, fasting mimetics, spermidine, topical, oral, enhance autophagy, delay senescence markers. Yet foundation remains, UV avoidance, smoke cessation, glycemic control, sleep depth, exercise load, all preserve dermal vitality. From within, the matrix endures when lifestyle aligns, reflecting resilience, not just time. Photoaging, extrinsic assault, dominates exposed sites, UV penetrates, generates ROS, activates MMPs, matrix metalloproteinases, shredding collagen, elastin clumps, solar elastosis, deep wrinkles, pigment chaos, vessels dilate, pollution amplifies, via AHR pathways, smoking constricts, starves oxygen, all converge on frailty. The microbiome, trillions of commensals, Cutibacterium, Staphylococcus, Corynebacterium, shift with age, diversity dips in frail skin, premature appearance links to fragile networks. Acinetobacter rise, resilient communities in delayed ages produce ceramides, antimicrobials, bolstering barrier. Recent 2025 studies show manipulation via topicals restores balance, improves elasticity, hydration. Senescent fibroblasts, key culprits, resist apoptosis, spread inflammation, senolytics emerge, dasatinib plus quercetin, clear them in trials, restoring firmness in mice, human skin models, as of 2025, promise for frailty without cancer spike when targeted, protection stacks, broad spectrum sunscreen, mineral or chemical, reapplied, neutralizes 80% of visible aging, topical antioxidants, vitamin C stabilizes collagen, ferulic pairs, astaxanthin quenches singlet oxygen, resveratrol modulates sirtuins, niacinamide calms, strengthens lipids, retinoids, gold standard, accelerate turnover, boost hyaluronic, but gently, to avoid irritation, from within, carotenoids, from carrots, tomatoes, shield UV, polyphenols, berries, green tea, tame inflammation, omega-3s, fish, nuts, integrate into ceramides, collagen peptides, oral, mixed results, but meta-analyses 2025 show hydration gains, elasticity bumps, probiotics, prebiotics, nurture microbiome via gut-skin axis, reducing systemic fire, hydration holistic, humectants draw, occlusive seal, but diets fats, essential, avocados, salmon, build barrier, water alone insufficient, without lipids, sleep, exercise, stress mastery, all amplify for skin that reflects not just years, but vitality, deeper, deeper, almost not here anymore. Neurotransmitters, the brain's chemical language, serotonin, dopamine, GABA, glutamate, acetylcholine, norepinephrine, each with specific roles: mood, motivation, calm, excitation, memory, arousal, and they're made from amino acids. Tryptophan becomes serotonin, then melatonin. Tyrosine becomes dopamine, then norepinephrine, then epinephrine. Glutamate becomes GABA by the enzyme GAD, which requires vitamin B6. Diet provides the precursors. Turkey is famous for tryptophan, but any protein contains it, and it competes with other amino acids for transport into the brain. This is why a high-carb meal can increase serotonin, insulin, drives other amino acids into muscle, leaving tryptophan to cross the blood-brain barrier unopposed. This is one reason carbs are comforting. They increase serotonin temporarily, but refined carbs cause blood sugar spikes, insulin spikes, then crashes, leading to mood swings, cravings, a roller coaster. But complex carbs with fiber release glucose slowly, steady insulin, steady mood, sweet potatoes, oats, quinoa, lentils, paired with protein, healthy fats. They provide sustained energy and stable neurotransmitter production. Everything fading. Now, just softness, warmth, the hum of existence, the rhythm of breath, heartbeat, cellular repair, telomeres, those protective caps we mentioned. They're like a molecular clock. Each division they shorten after 50 to 70 divisions. The Hayflick limit cells stop dividing, enter senescence, or die, but telomerase can extend them. Germ cells, stem cells have telomerase. They're essentially immortal. In terms of replicative potential, most somatic cells don't have active telomerase, so they age, senesce, but lifestyle affects telomere length. Chronic stress shortens them. Meditation lengthens them. Exercise lengthens them. Poor diet, smoking, obesity shorten them. It's measurable. A blood test can determine your leukocyte telomere length, an indicator of biological age. People with longer telomeres live longer, have less disease. But is it causal or correlation? Unclear. Some studies suggest artificially extending telomeres in somatic cells could increase cancer risk because cancer cells reactivate. Telomerase. Becoming immortal. This is part of what makes cancer so dangerous. But in the context of healthy lifestyle, telomere preservation is a marker of overall cellular health, not the cause, but a reflection. Diving deeper, telomeres consist of repetitive T-tag sequences at chromosome ends, shielding genetic code from erosion like aglets on shoelaces, preventing fraying. During replication, DNA polymerase can't fully copy the lagging strand, leading to progressive shortening. Critical length triggers 53 and other checkpoints, halting division to avoid genomic instability. Telomerase, a reverse transcriptase, adds repeats using its RNA template. In embryos, it's highly active, but postnatally silenced in most tissues, except where renewal is constant, like bone marrow or intestinal lining. Reactivation in cancer, seen in 85-90% of tumors, enables limitless replication, a hallmark of malignancy. Epigenetic factors influence expression. Stress hormones like cortisol accelerate attrition via oxidative damage, inflammation, while antioxidants in berries, greens, protect them. Omega-3s from fish correlate with longer lengths. Even social connections buffer against shortening. Twin studies show genetics account for about 70%, environment the rest. Recent research as of 2025 explores TA65 from astragalus, or gene therapies to boost telomerase safely. Trials in mice extend lifespan without cancer spike if dosed carefully. Human studies ongoing for progeria or age-related frailty. But caution reigns. Balance is key. Too short aging accelerates. Too long risks oncogenesis. Measurement evolves beyond leukocytes. Saliva tests or epigenetic clocks integrate telomere data. For holistic aging scores, interventions stack. Combine exercise with mindfulness and nutrition for synergistic preservation. Ultimately, telomeres reflect cumulative wear, a modifiable window into vitality. Immune surveillance, continuous, natural killer cells, T cells, macrophages, all patrolling, touching, tasting every cell, looking for the abnormal, the infected, the cancerous, and most of the time they find it early, before it's a problem. A cell begins to transform. NK cells detect altered surface proteins, MHC molecules, stress ligands. They bind, release perforins, granzymes. The cell dies quietly. No one even knows. This happens thousands of times throughout your life, probably every day. Cancerous cells arising and being eliminated only when immune surveillance fails. Does cancer take hold, grows, spreads? This is why immune health is everything. Sleep, nutrition, stress management, exercise, social connection, all enhance immune function, all reduce cancer risk. Almost gone, now drifting in the space before dreams, the threshold where self dissolves into sleep, the heart beating steadily 60 times a minute or slower as you deepen into rest. 100,000 beats a day, 40 million beats a year, 3 billion beats in a lifetime. If you live 80 years, never stopping, never resting, an electrical system pacing it, the say node, natural pacemaker, sending impulses through atria, AV node, ventricles, contraction in perfect sequence, pumping 5 liters of blood every minute. At rest, much more during exercise. Blood carrying oxygen, nutrients, hormones, immune cells to every tissue, and returning carbon dioxide, metabolic wastes to lungs, kidneys, liver for removal. Cardiovascular health depends on endothelial function, nitric oxide production, vascular compliance, preventing atherosclerosis, inflammation, and diet, exercise, sleep, stress management. They're the pillars, simple but profound. The lungs, breathing automatically. The medulla in the brainstem, sensing carbon dioxide levels, adjusting respiratory rate. You breathe without thinking, but you can also control it voluntarily. This dual as control is unique, and it's a bridge between conscious and unconscious, a way to influence the autonomic nervous system. Slow, deep breaths activate the parasympathetic, lowering heart rate, blood pressure, cortisol inducing calm. This is why breathwork, meditation are so powerful. They're tools to shift physiology toward healing. Barely breathing. Now the body completely relaxed. Every muscle soft, jaw slack, hands open, feet turned out, total surrender to gravity, to sleep, to the healing night. Glucose metabolism, insulin sensitivity, we've touched on, but let's complete the picture. When you eat carbohydrates, they break down to glucose, blood sugar rises, the pancreas detects this, beta cells secrete insulin, insulin signals muscle, fat, liver cells to take up glucose, blood sugar drops back to normal. But if you eat constantly, especially refined carbs, insulin is constantly elevated. Cells downregulate insulin receptors. They become resistant. Now more insulin is needed to achieve the same effect. The pancreas works harder. Eventually, it can't keep up. Beta cells burn out, blood sugar remains high, type 2 diabetes, but this is reversible. In early stages, lose weight, especially visceral fat, exercise regularly, eat low glycemic foods, intermittent fasting, insulin sensitivity improves, beta cells recover, blood sugar normalizes. Even people with long-standing diabetes can sometimes reverse it with intensive lifestyle changes. Your body has such capacity for healing if given the right conditions. Mitochondria, the powerhouses, we've mentioned them, but they're extraordinary. They were once free-living bacteria billions of years ago. They were engulfed by another cell, endosymbiosis. Instead of being digested, they formed a partnership. The host cell provided protection, nutrients. The mitochondrion provided ATP, energy, and that partnership persists in every eukaryotic cell. Mitochondria still have their own DNA, circular, like bacteria, inherited only from your mother, mitochondrial Eve, the most recent common ancestor of all humans, lived about 150,000 years ago in Africa. We all carry a piece of her in every cell. Mitochondrial dysfunction is implicated in aging, neurodegenerative diseases, metabolic disorders, anything that supports mitochondrial health, supports overall health. Exercise, fasting, cold exposure, polyphenols, coenzyme Q10, PQQ, all enhance mitochondrial function, biogenesis, the creation of new mitochondria, brain-gut axis, the bidirectional communication highway between the gastrointestinal tract and the central nervous system, linking the enteric nervous system with emotional and cognitive brain centers, influenced heavily by the gut microbiota through neural pathways like the vagus nerve, hormonal signals, immune messengers, and metabolic products. This axis maintains homeostasis in digestion, mood, stress response, and even immune function. Disruptions here contribute to disorders like IBS, anxiety, depression, and neurodegenerative diseases. but nurturing it with diverse microbiota through diet, probiotics, and stress management can enhance resilience, mental clarity, and overall well-being. Vagus nerve signaling, the longest cranial nerve, serving as the primary conduit in the gut-brain axis, carrying mostly afferent signals from gut to brain, sensing nutrients, microbial metabolites, inflammation, and mechanical stretch, directly modulating mood, appetite, immune responses, and inflammation via the cholinergic anti-inflammatory pathway. Vagal tone reflects parasympathetic balance. Low tone associates with chronic stress, poor digestion, and heightened inflammation, while stimulation through breathing, cold exposure, or singing boosts resilience, reduces anxiety, and supports gut healing, making it a key target for enhancing brain-gut harmony, immune memory, the adaptive immune system's hallmark ability to remember past invaders, formed by specialized B and T memory cells after initial exposure, enabling faster, stronger, and more targeted responses upon re-encounter. Memory B cells rapidly produce high-affinity antibodies, while memory T cells swiftly eliminate infected cells. This protects against recurrent infections, underpins vaccination success, and persists for decades in some cases. But with age or immunosuppression, memory wanes, increasing vulnerability. Yet lifestyle factors like nutrition and exercise can bolster its maintenance and efficacy. Cellular resilience, the cell's capacity to withstand and recover from stress, whether oxidative, metabolic, proteotoxic, or environmental, through adaptive responses like upregulated defense pathways, heat shock proteins, antioxidant systems, and DNA repair mechanisms. Resilience prevents collapse into apoptosis or senescence, allowing return to homeostasis, or even enhanced resistance via hormesis. Declines with age, contributing to frailty and disease, but can be bolstered by intermittent stressors, caloric restriction, or compounds mimicking mild challenges, promoting longevity and robust function. Longevity pathways, intricate networks like sirtuins, AMPK, and mTOR, orchestrating cellular responses to nutrients and stress. Sirtuins, NAD-dependent deacetylases, promote DNA repair, mitochondrial health, and inflammation control. AMPK, the energy sensor, activates catabolism and autophagy during scarcity, inhibiting growth to conserve resources. mTOR, nutrient abundance detector, drives anabolism and proliferation, but chronic activation accelerates aging. Balancing these, suppressing mTOR, activating AMPK and sirtuins via fasting, exercise, or precursors, extends lifespan, enhances repair, and delays age-related decline. Disease prevention mechanisms, the body's multi-layered defenses, from barriers like skin and mucosa to innate immunity's rapid responders and adaptive immunity's precise targeting. Antioxidants neutralize free radicals, detox enzymes process toxins, DNA repair fixes mutations, apoptosis eliminates damaged cells, while lifestyle amplifies these, Nutrition fuels repair, exercise reduces inflammation, sleep restores balance, preventing chronic diseases like cancer, heart disease, and neurodegeneration. Through proactive harmony rather than reactive crisis, cancer defense systems, immune surveillance constantly patrols for aberrant cells. Natural killer cells and cytotoxic T cells detect and destroy transformed ones via missing self-recognition or stress ligands, supported by dendritic cells presenting antigens and cytokines amplifying responses. Tumor suppressors like 53 halt proliferation in damaged cells. Apoptosis clears threats, while DNA repair maintains genomic integrity. These systems eliminate most nascent cancers, but evasion through immunosuppression or hidden antigens allows escape. Yet bolstering surveillance via lifestyle or immunotherapy restores potent defense, tumor microenvironment control. The dynamic ecosystem surrounding cancer cells, comprising fibroblasts, immune cells, endothelium, and extracellular matrix. Initially hostile, it can be co-opted to support growth, angiogenesis, invasion, and metastasis, via secreted factors promoting inflammation, immune suppression, or remodeling stroma. Cancer cells orchestrate this shift, creating a permissive niche, but targeting it, disrupting supportive signals, re-educating immune infiltrates, or normalizing vessels can restrain progression, turning the environment against the tumor. Anti-inflammatory diet patterns, emphasizing whole plant foods, fatty fish, nuts, olive oil, and herbs, rich in omega-3s, polyphenols, fiber, and antioxidants, while minimizing processed meats, refined carbs, sugars, and trans fats that fuel chronic inflammation. Patterns like Mediterranean or plant-based lower cytokines, improve gut microbiota, and enhance resilience, reducing risks of heart disease, diabetes, arthritis, and cognitive decline through daily choices that quench systemic fire. Whole food synergy, the magic of nutrients interacting in their natural matrix, where vitamins, minerals, phytochemicals, and fiber amplify each other's effects. Beyond isolated supplements, tomatoes' lycopene absorbs better with fat, spices boost curcumin's potency, fruits' compounds protect against oxidation. This orchestration enhances bioavailability, antioxidant power, and health benefits, explaining why whole foods outperform pills, promoting optimal absorption, disease prevention, and vibrant longevity. Nutrient bioavailability, the fraction of ingested nutrients actually absorbed and utilized, influenced by food form, matrix, preparation, and co-nutrients. Fat enhances fat-soluble vitamins. Vitamin C boosts iron. Cooking breaks down barriers in plants, while anti-nutrients like phytates bind minerals. Host factors, status, age, gut health further modulate, prioritizing diverse whole foods, optimal pairings, and digestion support maximizes uptake for true nourishment. Cellular self-renewal, the intricate balance of quiescence, activation, and regeneration, via stem cells and autophagy, clearing damaged components, recycling for energy, and maintaining proteostasis, essential for tissue repair, longevity, and stemness. Autophagy sustains quiescence, fuels differentiation, and prevents senescence. While declining with age, it contributes to frailty. But activating via fasting or exercise revives renewal, supporting vitality and recovery, drifting through the microscopic, the molecular, the quantum, all boundaries dissolving. You're not separate from the world. You are continuous with it. Atoms flowing in, flowing out. The line between self and environment is arbitrary. Your food becomes you, water becomes you, air becomes you, and you become the world. Through exhaled carbon dioxide, shed skin, excreted waste. There is no fixed self, just a process, a pattern, a wave, passing through matter. This is not metaphor. This is just literal, physical truth. And in this continuous exchange, there is healing, there is renewal. Every moment you are being rebuilt. And tonight, in sleep, that rebuilding accelerates, intensifies. Every cell attended to, every system recalibrated. Nothing to do, nowhere to be, just this perfect moment of rest. The body taking over, doing what it has always done, what it will always do. Heal, repair, regenerate. The intelligence of the body is beyond comprehension. Trillions of cells coordinating, communicating, each performing its role in perfect concert. No conductor needed. It's emergent, self-organizing, resilient. Trust it. Trust the process. Trust the night. Trust the deep cellular wisdom that has kept life alive for 4 billion years. Sleep now. Deep, restorative, healing sleep. Let go of everything. Everything. The body keeps healing. Cellular health unfolding cell by cell, and will keep drifting, floating together through health science, looping softly, endlessly through the night. There's nothing you need to do now. Just let your body sink. Heavier, heavier. Feel the mattress holding you, every muscle softening, your heartbeat slowing, thump, thump, matching the rhythm of regeneration itself. Shoulders melting down, jaw releasing, each breath pulling you deeper, deeper into the calm, the quiet, the dark. The body keeps healing, cellular health unfolding cell by cell, and will keep drifting, floating together through health science,